Welcome back to Mental Fitness Fridays, segment where I just get a chance to share some reflections about whether it's the week or just other things that have stood out to me in regards to mental fitness. So let's jump right in. Today, I wanted to talk more about this idea in regards to the positive inner dialogue, and specifically a phrase that has really helped me, to embrace myself and also do things to strengthen things like the relationships that I have in my life, with others, my partner, kids, friends, family, the whole thing. So the phrase that's been super helpful for me, it's I'm doing the best I can. I'll let that sink in for a second, right? I'm doing the best I can. Or with others, it's they're doing the best they can. And, for me, it's one of those things, it's been a journey to get to the place of embracing a phrase like that. Because there's something in the competitive side of me, right, that says, well, you're not maybe accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish. And allowing myself to embrace this phrase of I'm doing the best I can almost sounds like giving up a little bit. But over time, I will say this, what I have realized is that phrase has given me the freedom and the space to keep going and not get stuck. I think that's one of the things that I've recognized in mental fitness is it really allows you to keep that movement, right? We talked about last week this idea, or I shared this idea of positive movement and one step, in front of the other. And so this one kind of gets into the dialogue portion of that. So I got to bring it back, right, to some triathlon experiences, because this is just one of the things that's been a part of my life recently. So the most recent one that I completed, right, was last year. And last year, going through many moments, specifically in training, where I had some struggles. It was real struggles. And this phrase of doing the best I can really became more and more of a practice. It had to, right? So maybe as some of you have done things like longer trainings or longer workouts or have competed in some of these races, right, that just take longer periods of time, that's a part of the training. You need the time to complete it, right? So for me, one of the things that I would wrestle with and struggle with was just the lack of time that I had, right? Like for me, so like being in a partnership, right? Being a father, and this was the first year that I was starting my own therapy private practice, learning the business side of that. You could tell, I had a lot of time on my hands, right? But seriously, with that, it was really hard to embrace the moments and these smaller amounts of time that I had. And so with that, it would be one of those things that I would have to remind myself you're doing the best you can, right? So from the training of doing a long bike, then run, right? As you're trying to get those in, those take upwards of, depending on where you're at, right? Can take an hour, can take 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And so it was allowing me to be okay with today, I'm doing the best I can with this, even though I had to cut my training in half, and not going through and being stuck in those messages, right? Those negative messages. And the ones that I would hear was, oh, no, you're not training enough. I would get this kind of fear inside of me. And because you're not training enough, you're not going to accomplish what you need to accomplish. You're not going to finish the race, and what that means is you're a failure. It would get deep sometimes. And I would have to take a moment and usually pause. And with this phrase, it was something that just kept on ringing in my head. And it said, okay, I'm doing the best I can. You are doing the best you can in this moment. And I could feel it inside of me. I could feel it go, okay. And what it allowed me to do is it allowed me to show up the next day, right? And keep training instead of getting stuck in that negativity that would really drain me. And with everything else that's going on in life, draining energy really made an impact, on my life. And so instead I would feel more of this, okay, you're going to be okay. You are doing the best you can. And so with that, as I got into the actual race, as I got up to the race itself, right? One of the things that happened for me this last year was I actually was able to swim the fastest that I've ever swam before. And it surprised me, but it also encouraged me, right? Because if you remember, previous, right? I think I shared it in one of my stories. Swimming was like, it was more drowning for me. It was rough. And so over the years, I've been able to get to this spot where not only is it this kind of positive movement, but it's this inner phrase, right? Doing the best I can allowed me to keep going, even amidst some of the criticisms, right? That I experienced, right? Maybe that you've experienced at times as well. And so, man, this is just one of the phrases that I wanted to share with you, wanted to get that out there. And hopefully that's something that can encourage you. It can be something that you can take with you. And in those moments of, man, today's not working out the way that I want it to work out, right? Today's not happening, and that can go from all kinds of things, right? From whether it is a training, right, that you're doing, or whether it is a work-related thing, right? Or whether it's in relationships. I mean, I could do a whole nother segment on relationships specifically, right? For me, in the partnership that I'm in, right? Or with kids, right? There's something there about this perspective change that's saying to myself, they are trying the best they can. It's like created this pause. And instead of getting stuck with, in this case, with relationships, the ones that I can struggle with is sometimes like this resentment that can kick in, like this bitterness that can kick in. And instead, it allows me to go, wait a second. No, they're trying the best they can too. And it gives that pause. It gives that moment. To me, it's like that word empathy, right, kicks in more. And it actually becomes more of a moment of connection. So however it is, that phrase has been one of those things that I have found, at least in my life, that has been helpful for me personally and in relationships. So in regards to Mental Fitness Fridays, right? This is one of the things that I wanted to get out there. These are some concepts, some things that I've just been kind of working on, whether personally as well as professionally, and just in so many areas and trainings, things like that. And so one of the things I wanted to throw out there as well is if you have, phrases or comments or things like that that help you, whether it's in training, right? Or whether it's in other areas of life, right? With relationships, with kids, and just these phrases that mean something to you in regards to mental fitness. Man, I'd love to hear them, share them, comment, do something like that. And it's something that I feel like on this journey, of mental fitness, we'll get a chance to really be able to pull those together, right? Be able to build those. And so with that, wrapping up Mental Fitness Friday. So I hope for you that this was just another encouraging moment and phrase that you could take with you as next week we'll be able to hear more on this segment of Mental Fitness Friday. So with that, remember to be curious, stay curious without judgment. I look forward to next time. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through mental fitness stories with Jon Steele. If you resonated with today's episode, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a review on your podcast platform of your choice. Remember, your story is important, and so is your mental well-being. If you have a personal mental fitness journey you'd like to share or topics you'd like us to explore in future episodes, reach out to us on social media or through our website. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations, expert insights, and practical tips to help you cultivate a resilient mind. Until next time, take care of your mind, nurture your inner dialogue, and prioritize your self-care. Remember, you are not alone, and your mental fitness and well-being is worth the investment. Thanks for being a part of the Mental Fitness Stories community.